Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Bourbon Basement. I'm Ryan,
And I'm Steve.
and sorry about that. For some reason, when I clicked go live, it failed to update the settings for YouTube, so I had to end that stream and start a new one. So hopefully, everyone's able to pick up on that and get to the stream that's actually going and not just upcoming and waiting. So, uh, without further ado, with all the technical difficulties aside, it was an easy fix this time,
Did we
thankfully.
end the last one? I mean, so we got our viewers on the right one, do you think?
I don't know. I just said that. I said hopefully people are able to pick up on the fact that that one's still upcoming and this one's live now.
But if they're watching that one,
They're not
then
gonna
they're
be
not gonna
watching much. They're not gonna be getting a
then
whole
they're
lot
sitting there
watching it.
waiting on us and we're already going on this one.
So sorry about that. We were live at 6:01, not quite 6 o'clock, but we were as close as possible. Today is going to be an episode that I'm very excited about. And this actually in our last tasting was my favorite bourbon that we tried. So I'm super excited to have this again. And what are we going to be doing?
All right, so I don't know how common this is, how much people know about this, but this is Legion. We're going to actually try both of their offerings. So Legion is a Jim Beam offering, by the way. Let's put this one over here. I want to save that bottle.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about it, and that's it back there.
No, I just wanted it up there for the thing. But anyway, Legion is a Jim Beam product. Fred No and a guy named Shinji. I got to be real careful with this name. Uh,
Shenanigua.
Fukuyo. Fukuyo. So Shinji Fukuyo. They collaborated on this. Of course, he is from Japan, and Fred No, master distiller there at Jim Beam. They were working on a special project, and this is what they come up with. So, uh, I tell you what. So, I think you might need a drink to get through this episode. So why don't you go ahead if you have any Jim Beam project or a Legent product, go ahead and pour you a little glass, start sipping, maybe start gulping, get a little bit of good feeling there, make your show a whole lot better. Uh, but but what I wanted to say about this is so this is a collaboration between Japan and Kentucky. Jim Beam bourbon. They start with the regular Jim Beam mash bill, so it's 75 corn, 13 rye, and 12 malted barley. They barrel and age that for 5 years. All right. So then you think, okay, 5-year-old Jim Beam, that's all right, right? Well, then they go beyond that. So after it's aged, they put it into. All right. So this is where different stuff. It's hard to
Here we
explain.
go.
I read a lot about it. It's hard to explain, but here's what they do. So when let's talk about let's talk about these bourbons that are
Can we talk about one thing at a time?
well, I'm all over the place. These bourbons that are
I'm lost, guys. I don't know how y'all
finished.
are feeling right now.
Well, these finished bourbons, how do we feel? How do you feel about a finished bourbon?
I'd rather just have a regular bourbon. I'm not a big fan of like the wine casks and stuff like that.
Okay. So old school bourbon guys want a distilled product in an oak barrel, aged, dumped, and that's what most old bourbon
That's
drinkers,
what I
not old
think of.
age, just ones that have been enjoying bourbon for a long time.
That's what I think of when I think of bourbon.
Me
Like
too.
I don't think of anything extravagant.
Me too. And we've talked about this on the show before. These
Short and sweet.
non
Just keep it simple.
well, these non-distilling producers and stuff like that, it gets real confusing to people. Uh, so I like a real distiller, distill their product, age their product, bottle their product, put it on a shelf, drink that product. That's what I like. And that's an old school world of thought. So what's happening now?
It's not old school. It's classic.
Okay, classic is a
It's
better way. I
classic.
like that better, right? So what we got is you've got that kind of philosophy, but now it seems like everybody, at least some of their products, are either finished in a different cast.
Port wine casks. That's
Uh,
a big popular one.
yeah, rum, sherry. They finish them in all these things, and or stave finish. And the stave finish is where they actually insert the staves into the barrels and they let that happen and they finish it that way. So there's different ways of finishing and different ways of doing. Well, Fred and Shinji, I'll just say his first name
Oh,
because
Shinji.
the last name's pretty hard to say. Fuko, Fukuyo,
Fukuyo.
Fukuyo. Anyway, they got together and they wanted to do some of this finishing, right? So Fred says, "Hey, let's do this. We'll get your artistry of blending and my distilling knowledge, the seventh generation of distilling, and we'll create some incredible spirits." So they got together and they worked out. Now, what they do different. So let's use Angel's Envy as an example. So Angel's Envy, they distill their bourbon, and to be bourbon, it has to be aged in a brand new charred white oak barrel. Okay. So then you can finish it in whatever you want according to bourbon law. So Angel's Envy always finishes it in port barrels.
Did that become a thing? I wondered.
No, and that's kind of my thing. So,
Like, when did that become part of bourbon law?
well, I think that's where the debate is on this. Because if you are finishing it in a different barrel, it is actually picking up added flavors
Yeah.
and added colors. And the one thing bourbon cannot have is additives. So it can't have artificial added flavors and it can't have artificial added colors. So, but the people that govern
It's a big
bourbon,
gray area.
it is. And so a lot when this come out, it stirred up a lot of controversy. Is this a bourbon or is this a whiskey? Because you can add anything you want to whiskey. It just can't be a bourbon at that point, but it has to be a whiskey. So it was a big controversy. Well, according to the rule keepers of bourbon, it still became a bourbon because they aren't just like adding a dye to it. It's actually just getting into a second barrel and it's picking up colors and flavorings from that second barrel and not added flavors that you just add to it. Like somebody didn't go and just throw bacon in there and make it bacon. Because how good
Boy,
would a
wouldn't that be
bacon
something?
bourbon be good?
A bacon maple bourbon?
That would be awesome. So we've got maple bourbons. So a bacon making
A bacon making?
bacon making
A
bourbon.
bacon making bourbon?
Bacon
Okay.
maple. All
We're
right.
losing full again.
Anyway, but so back to Angel's Envy, they like take their whole barrel after they age it, and then they dump it into a port wine barrel and they age it longer, and then they bottle from that port wine barrel. They dump and bottle from that, right? And that's how most of these do. Well, Fred and Shinji, they decided to do something different. So now they didn't get into how many barrels go into a batch. Okay.
Considering the price of it, I would imagine quite a few.
So I don't know. Well, we'll talk about the prices of these because there's very different prices on these two.
Yeah.
If you all don't know what we got up here, this is just the regular Legent. It's a uh, it's straight bourbon whiskey, partially finished. It says in wine and sherry cask, which is what I'm talking about. This one here is Legent Yamasaki cask finish blend. So
And I can't even say anything about blends on this one because this is
exactly, and you just said you kind of like the old,
I
the
do
classic way of
I
making
do
a
like the
bourbon.
classic, but this
But
was
this
good.
is one of your best bourbons. Okay. So, what they do different that other places don't buy, from what I could gather, is instead of pouring a barrel, like they got their 5-year old Jim Beam, instead of dumping it into uh, it's a California red wine barrel. Instead of dumping it into a California red wine barrel and letting it age, and then taking that out and dumping it into a sherry barrel and letting it age, they take their barrels and they dump one barrel in the port wine, one barrel in the sherry. Now, so then you get it to Shinji, all right? Now he's going to start blending all these. So he's got port wine, oh, I'm sorry, California red wine finished barrels of Jim Beam bourbon, and he's got sherry finished barrels of Jim Beam bourbon. And he takes and he starts blending them. But they don't just stop there. They go ahead and they take the original 5-year old Jim Beam barrels and they blend in with that too, with no finish. So
Seems like so much
regular,
work.
it is a lot, and I think that's what makes this more unique. Uh, So they do that kind of blending and then they bottle their stuff, and that gets your regular Legion. So they have just say, let's say they do 15 barrels. So they have 5 barrels finished in California red wine cask. Then they have 5 barrels finished in sherry cask. And then they have 5 barrels, just regular old 5-year old Jim Beam. And that's what they blend all together to get this particular bottle. Now, this particular bottle is $45 to $50. All right. So you think that's about probably a normal kind of ongoing for especially like a Jim Beam product or
Yeah.
something like that, something that you've actually heard of. All right. Well, now this one. So this one here is just like this one, except it goes one step further. So they take their all their bourbon that they got in this in the red wine, all their bourbon they got in the sherry, and all their bourbon that they just have in the white oak still, just their standard bourbon. They blend that, and then they add that to a Yamasaki barrel. And Yamasaki is whiskey, Japanese whiskey. So they add it into that barrel and let it age longer into that barrel. It did not specify the aging times in any of these barrels.
Why would they?
And they don't have to because the aging created in the white oak is what made it a bourbon, right? So it doesn't matter about the other stuff. Is it confusing? Is everyone confused yet?
I'm mm,
Hmm. So how do you feel now about more blended bourbons?
there's a
And
lot of work that goes into it.
is it a bourbon or is it whiskey? How do you feel about that?
I don't care to know because this is still a good bourbon.
Bourbon. You call it a bourbon, so it's still a
Because
bourbon.
it's labeled as a bourbon.
And the bourbon rule makers say it is. And I honestly think it is too, because it was aged 5 years in a white oak barrel, charred.
I still think it's a bourbon, but as far as the additives go, that's a gray area.
And it's not really an additive. It still has to pick up the ingredients out of the barrel. It
But you're
still has to
putting it
pick
in
that up.
that barrel knowing that it's going to have the additives that were already in that barrel in there.
I agree.
It's a gray area.
That's what makes it a gray area for bourbon. That's why so many of your classic bourbon drinkers didn't like the ideal of this being a bourbon, and they actually wanted it as a whiskey.
I'm not old enough to be a classic bourbon drinker, I don't guess. There are so many bourbons out there now, like just Kentucky bourbons, all kinds of different ways. Like, I mean,
We only do Kentucky bourbon, right?
yeah.
Okay. And I bet you in this bourbon basement right now, we have rum finished bourbons. We have sherry finished bourbons. We have toasted bourbons. All those bourbons have been in different barrels, or at least had different staves added to the barrel. Because if you hear a stave finish, that's just where they bust down an old sherry barrel or an
Right in
old
there.
rum barrel. They bust it down and they put it in the actual liquid in the barrel that's aging and let it age longer with that to pick up some of that flavor. It's really interesting how they do it. To me, with
It takes a lot more work.
my luck, I'd buy one daggone barrel of bourbon. I'd let it age and I'd want to finish it and I would ruin it by doing it. So I don't know. I don't know how they get it, but I guess that's why there's not a lot of single barrels like that
Mm.
because they probably have to blend it to get that kind of consistent taste.
Well, it would be interesting to just try a single barrel to see if it's really that different without the blending.
I don't know. But so some of my debate questions I had wrote down. Some of my debate questions were: is it bourbon? Because you're adding color, you're adding flavor, but it's coming from a barrel, right? And now Fred, we know he's the master distiller there at Jim Beam, but his son Freddie, you know what Freddie does, don't you, for a living? Do you know what Freddie does? Well, he works at Jim Beam, so you know what is Freddie No kind of known for? Do you know anything that he's known for right now? Look right behind you on the shelf up there in the black box.
Oh,
So Freddie No he blends bourbon because he does Little Book. He's the one that's behind Little Book, which is blended Jim Beam bourbons as well. So they're blending a lot.
they're blended all right.
All right, so we're going to do something else special today. So this is going to be a new pop
Now, another thing I want to say before we move on from
All right.
that. So, with our new microphone setup, guys, we didn't realize it until we went back and started watching some of these
You
episodes.
don't hear the cork pop.
I guess it's the noise gate because we have a lot of background noise that happens. We have dogs barking and stuff, and I've got a noise gate on our microphone that reduces that excess sound and projects our voice more. So that's almost the only thing that it picks up on. And we didn't notice or didn't realize that we were sitting here like, oh yeah, it's a good cork pop. And our faces would light up when we would pull the cork, and you all would hear nothing. We just looked like idiots, like, oh my gosh, yeah, it was pretty
Maybe that's
decent.
part of the comedy of the show. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, but we apologize. I don't know. I did
And they
adjust.
are live, so we can't go back and like edit the
Yeah,
cork pop
I
sound.
did adjust some settings on the microphone, so hopefully it will pick up the cork pops now, especially since we have another fresh crack going. But if it doesn't, I don't know what else to do to get the cork pops back.
I'll just go. All
You
right.
might not even hear that.
You may not. I don't know. But
It
so
doesn't pick up on sound effects, is what I'm saying. It picks up on voice, but not sound effects like dogs barking, uh, beating on the floors and whatnot.
well, we're going to do two special things. A lot of episodes start with a fresh crack, which a lot of people like that fresh crack. We've got a fresh crack today, but we've also are going to have a bottle dump today because this one's going to
This
get
one's good.
empty.
This will be finished after the. It's
This one will
sad.
be
We
empty.
do have another bottle of this on standby, but
It's in our Derby episode.
I don't even want it to be opened. I think that one should sit
So
on the
you got to
shelf.
root against that
I
horse.
do.
Do you know what horse it is?
Mm-mm. Not right now.
Producer, do you know what horse our Legion?
No, don't spoil it.
Oh, what
You
is
can't say it now.
okay.
You can't say it now.
All right, we
It's one
can't
of
tell
the
you.
horses in our Derby episode. You can look forward to that the Friday before the Derby. So it'll be next week.
Next week.
Next
Next
week is
next week's
Derby
our Derby
episode.
episode.
So
Exciting times here on the Bourbon Basement. Whoop, whoop.
all right, so we're gonna be
All
trying.
20 horses are represented.
Yeah,
All
by
20
something.
horses.
It'll be a fun episode. Uh, but back to this. So we do have a fresh pop, and we're going to be doing a bottle dump.
A
So
bottle dump.
it's a big episode.
Yeah. Now, so I did tell you that this one's 45 to $50.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about that one.
And do you remember how much this one
I
was?
know how much it is.
I know how much it is at Total Wine or Liquor Barn today. Which one was it? Total Wine?
Yeah, probably Total Wine.
Total Wine. So she just saw it at Total Wine today for $239. And you can say there's a big dent in that bottle.
It's a good bottle. That's all I'm going to tell you right now.
So we have had this one. We kind of did it backwards. I'm a backwards guy, right? I went
You
for
went for the
the
big
really
bottle.
extreme and elusive bottle and didn't even try the regular stuff. So we're gonna do the regular stuff first and then get to the big
I'm not
extreme elusive.
comparing these.
I don't care if you compare them, but you got to rate it.
I can rate it, but just so putting this out there, my ratings will not be a comparison. This one will probably obviously be a higher rating than this one. I mean, just straight up.
All right,
Okay,
let's
so
open this up.
if you want to go ahead and move this one to the side for now,
We'll move this one because we're gonna try Legion
well, they're both
and
Legion.
we're gonna try regular Legion Kentucky straight bourbon, and we'll give a rating on it,
All right,
and then we'll do the Yamasaki.
so I've been leaning the bottle down, and maybe it was too much of a pop for the microphone. I'll just set it up here, and maybe it has a chance of picking up. I hope it does, because I didn't even realize y'all couldn't hear the pops.
And here's one for good measure. Oh,
That was a good pop, guys. I'm just
that
saying.
was a good pump.
If you couldn't hear it, I apologize.
Something else about the Bourbon Basement that you may not have noticed.
We don't have a
We
creaky
don't have the
counter
creaky
anymore.
counter anymore.
But see, another thing about this microphone, you didn't hear the squeaking and the creaking of the counter when we would lean on it. But our counter would actually it was in rough shape. So uh that has been shimmed and has been fixed temporarily anyway. We'll see how long it lasts. Redneck ingenuity here in the
Let me
Bourbon
see that
Basement.
glass over here, son.
Couldn't hear it? Of course you couldn't hear it. Go figure. All right, so I got to figure something out with the cork pops.
Well, it was a good one. I'll give
Great,
it a 9 out of 10 on the cork pop.
great microphone setup. You can hear our voices a lot more clearly. Nothing's muffled,
We hope.
but can't hear the cork pops. That's a biggie.
One for our producer.
Well, thank you for letting me know that you still couldn't hear the pop. I appreciate it.
All right. Got one there, Russ.
I'm disappointed, but I appreciate the info. All right, we're gonna switch over to here. And guys, once again, we did already. There's an ant on my glass.
Oh,
Uh,
way to point that out.
there. If we have already invited you all to take a drink to get through all of the confusion earlier, but if you have not poured up a drink already, we are now inviting you to either get your favorite Jim Beam product. If you have some Legent sitting around the house, grab some of that. If you happen to have the Yamasaki,
Be a good time to bust it open
be a
and
great
drink with
time to have
friends
some.
if you have that Yamasaki.
Wow, I
Sorry,
can
this is
smell
usually set up before the show
the finish on that one.
on the Legion.
Yeah, I can smell the finish. Almost,
What, on the Legion, like I didn't
it's like
know.
cherry. It's like cough medicine. That's kind of what I smell.
Cherry cough medicine.
You know that throat numbing medicine, the cherry flavored one?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I smell.
All right. Well, there's
That's
your.
not a bad thing per se. I mean, it's a decent medicine to take. I don't know. I'm not dissing. I'm just saying that's kind of what I'm getting. Obviously, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't keep sticking my nose in the glass. It's got a very nice color. It's got some decent tears to it.
I do get a little bit of cherry, artificial kind of cherry
Yeah,
flavoring.
but I don't know. Maybe it's just the alcohol that you smell with it. It doesn't smell like just cherries themselves. I'm not getting,
You get the sherry or red wine in there.
no, I'm not getting a whole lot else though. It's hard to, it's hard to get past that one flavor keeps kicking itself out toward you.
I get the oak. You can
Maybe a
get the
little bit
oak
of
in
oak.
there.
I don't really say oak anymore, guys. I've been over this so many
Yeah,
times.
yeah, but you can say it when you ain't getting nothing else.
I've been over it so many times. I get the oak and everything, at least a little bit. All right, guys. So he's already gone in for his first one. If you're new here, if you're not, then I'm like beating a dead horse by saying this every episode. But when we do our tastings, we do two acclimation sips, which is just you putting a little bit of the bourbon in your mouth, moving it around, covering all your taste buds,
94 proof. Sorry.
and getting that burn out of the way. This is only a 94 proof, like he just said, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of burn to this one anyway. But that's your first two sips, and then the third sip, when you go in, you're actually trying to start pulling out some flavors. And then the fourth sip, whether we want to or not, we always go with a little bit of distiller's water, about 4 drops, because it's purified water. And it can change the depth of a bourbon, but it doesn't add any flavor. It's just regular water. So that's what we do when we do our tastings. We do 4 sips. If we have a little bit left over, then we do 5, but that doesn't happen very often. So I'm going in for one. You already through
I'm
your
on
two,
two.
so
I'll get three real quick here and then I'll start talking. So
you can't just go silent. You got to talk when I'm not.
you all drink and then everybody can be silent. It's all right.
Okay.
It's a live show. I mean, there's going to be some.
Well, you've gone in for your third one now, so get
What
getting.
can I let it set and get on my tongue there a little bit? All right.
You can
So,
while you're talking.
all right. Well, I'll go in while you're doing that. This is it's a good bourbon. Uh, I don't get a whole lot of like I don't get that cherry that it doesn't jump out at me, but I get a good mixture of the oak. I was expecting something really dry with the sherry and the red wine finish barrel.
Well, I'm not even on my tasting yet, and it's dry.
I don't think it is. I've
I
had
think
the
it's dry.
ones that just like suck my cheeks together.
It's not that dry, but
This
it's
one isn't
drier.
dry, and I'm enjoying that aspect of it. Uh, get some heat on the finish, of course. Taste some almost like some chilies in there, but I don't get cherry, but I still get some fruity essence. Apple cinnamon, that's good, producer. I do. I don't know that I could say a lot of like the apple. I taste the cinnamon more than the apple. Um, I don't think it's super sweet. I think this is kind of savory.
It's not sweet.
Uh, I kind of enjoy it. Have you had your third yet?
I just finished with it.
All right. I'm gonna add water to mine and see if I get something
Uh,
else.
I'm getting a lot of oakiness on the palate. I know I normally don't say it, but that is a flavor that jumps out at me
See,
pretty.
I didn't.
See, I'm getting a bunch of the oakiness. I get a little bit of. it is a little bit dry. I'm not saying that I'm sitting here like my mouth's the Sahara Desert or anything like that, but it is a little drier than your normal bourbons would be, um, or your non-sherry finished bourbons would be. Um, I mean, it's a slight bit of fruitiness. Like I'm kind of with him. This is a lot of savory flavors, a lot of spiciness. Not like burn spicy, but just like your nutmegs and your. I don't know if I'm getting so much chili powder like you
It's
were.
it's 94 proof, and I think it drinks like a 94 proof. It's this is like hits it dead on the spot, I think.
I mean, if I had to imagine a 94 proof, this is about the
I
spectrum
think
I'd be
yeah,
on
it's really good.
because it's a little. It's more than 90 proof, obviously, but it's less than 100.
I added water to mine.
I haven't had my water sip yet.
The water sip to me, I think it opened up the nose a little bit better. It made the nose kind of more
A
sweet.
little tingling on the tongue.
It didn't change my flavor profile any. I got the same kind of flavor profile. And I was kind of while you were talking and stuff, I'm kind of sitting here trying to picture what kind of finish it is in my mouth because it wasn't a real thick chew, which I like to say, and you don't, but it did coat my tongue, and it's still on my tongue.
Uh, I think the water sweetened it up a little bit for me. I'm getting a little bit of brown sugar now. I'm getting more of that cherry that I was smelling in the nose. Still get the oakiness. Not as spicy on the finish. It dilutes it just a little bit, just enough, I think. But this being a 94 proof, I don't think you really need to diet down anymore. I think it's about at that perfect ballpark to where you know that you're drinking a 94 proof, but it's not burning you up. Uh, I don't mind it.
No, it's a good bourbon. I think
It's a little
for
drier than what I would
45
like.
to $50, I think it's a good bourbon. Um, Uh, I've got another bottle of it, and the reason I had two bottles is because the bottle behind you here, this is the first generation bottle.
They
Actually,
don't make those
it's
bottles
a
anymore.
printed bottle. This one here, it's this just got a paper label on it. So, uh, I went to one liquor store and got this one, and then I thought, well, I don't even want to open that one because it's got the printed bottle.
That one will be a
Um,
trophy.
so it'll stay.
We do have
Uh,
a couple of trophies here in the Bourbon Basement that will not be opened.
yeah, I mean, we might open that one day, but.
I doubt it.
Maybe not. We've already done a show.
Not if I have anything
We've
to say
already
about
done
it.
a show on it, so we don't have to, right?
Exactly.
But this is a bottle I'll buy again
That, mm,
for 45 to
I
$50.
mean, it's good. It's just a little bit drier than what I would like.
What?
It makes you feel thirsty, and I don't necessarily like that feeling.
All right. Will you do me a favor? Rinse out those. I'm sorry. All right. So while he's rinsing out our glasses, you need a rinse too. You're waiting for a pour. You done rinsed it. Okay. All right. So we're doing that. We're going to change over to the more expensive, 45 to $50. This is
That was vodka, baby.
about
Uh,
230. 230. You want to? It's already been popped, but you
you
never
can't
know.
hear it, but
I like to hear it.
a lot deeper.
It sounded like this: boom,
Boom.
boom. Okay,
This is going to be hard for me
get
to
a
watch.
get a new one of these. The bottle emptying.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me to watch. This is a sad one.
Oh, I gotta get a new thing.
It's exciting because we get to drink it again, but it's a sad one knowing that it's going to be gone.
I will just pour.
How's everyone doing though on this fine evening while we're pouring these?
All right.
Everyone have
First
a good
one to
week.
our producer.
Everyone have a good week. I know that today I got absolutely soaked at work because Kentucky's been a washout all day.
Rained a lot, didn't it?
Did y'all have a rain day at work?
Yes.
I didn't.
I had to go out and look at
I
some
had a
jobs.
rain day.
Got a little bit muddy.
Boots were all sloshing by the time I got home. It was great.
But as far as trouble or planned work, I didn't have to do any. So that was awesome.
It's
And
okay. It's always a beautiful Friday evening in the Bourbon Basement.
and there you go, Rice.
Why'd you have to point it out? I was literally talking, just trying to keep my mind off of things.
Empty. We got another one. Maybe the horse will win in
Hands on that
the
too.
Derby episode.
Man.
All
Now,
right.
straight out the bat, guys, I'm not comparing these, but look at the color. Look at that.
Do have to say the color on this one is darker,
Oh
and
my
and
goodness.
this Legent had a nice color. So the extra finish in the extra Japanese whiskey barrel,
The proof on this one's 114. So
114.
quite a lot
So
stiffer.
you're taking a big jump, but it's probably why the price jumps up. The extra finish is probably
I
why it
mean,
jumps up. And these barrels, if you all didn't know, uh Shinji Fukuyo, Shinji Fukuyo, he works for Suntory.
I thought we were
Uh
just calling him Sinji now.
Shinji, he don't come to Kentucky. They get together and stuff, but when he does his blending and everything, it'll tell you right here on the bottle. It goes from
Right here.
Kentucky to Japan, and he does his stuff there in Japan, and then it comes back to Kentucky. So
That's kind of crazy.
it's weird how it works.
Tears, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Our glasses are kind of tainted. It's got some good tears. I'm going to tell you that right now. My
It's
glasses got water and condensation all over where we rinsed it, but
it's got a very good
it's got
nose too.
tears. And this nose, it's so much more subtle.
Now on yours, your
You're probably not even going to be able to see that, guys. I don't know what the producer's telling me to do.
she wants you to see the Kentucky to Japan.
You can't see that.
So oh well.
Maybe I
It's
can.
all right, babe. So anyway, it goes Kentucky. Just trust me. It does. It does. It does. 100% right there on the label.
The nose on this is so much more mellow, so much sweeter.
I
Uh,
get a lot sweeter nose. I think it's a fruity.
it's very
I
fruity,
get the apple on this one a
very
bunch.
fruity.
Uh,
Cinnamon apple,
I get pear. You get pear, maybe some peaches.
honey,
It's crazy how
sugary.
much the one extra barrel has changed this. Not only has it changed it in the smell, but it changed it in the price.
I mean, boy, it really did change in price, didn't it?
I'm gonna go in for number
Added an
one.
extra $200 just about.
Now on this one, we don't have to acclimate as well, but
You might
we
have to because
still do it the same.
94 to 114, 20 proof. Mm.
The
I
silent part,
stand corrected.
yeah,
You don't really need to acclimate.
no, it's pretty smooth.
This is so smooth for 114, guys. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
this is a pretty fantastic bourbon. We'll take another sip before we talk about it, but
I mean, I've got expensive taste, but this is definitely like top. This is easily top five bourbons I've ever tried within the bourbon basement. Easily.
it is a good one. And I will say this. So we did our tasting. This was your favorite.
Oh yeah,
I think it ranked what, 3 for me,
I think so.
somewhere in the middle for me. But it was my first time tasting it, and Booker's grew on me as the more I drank it, the better I liked it. And I don't mean the more I drink it at one setting,
We're
because
alcoholics,
a lot of times when you drink one at one setting, the more you drink, the more you will like
of
something, right?
course.
Of course, everything gets better. But the more days that I tasted Booker's, the better it got to me, and I enjoyed it more. So Booker's
I
is
can't believe you didn't like Booker's right off the bat.
right
It's
off
a
the bat, I
good
didn't,
bourbon.
but it was in one of our tastings too, and it was compared against a lot of other great bourbons. This one too was compared against a lot of other great bourbons, and it was somewhere in the middle for me. It was your number
I
one.
think I ranked them literally from most expensive to least expensive.
But the more I got, yeah, I think you did. But the more I've got to trying it, drinking it over the past few months when that we've had the bottle open, it's grew on me more and more. And I do enjoy this bourbon very much.
All right, so
Now, will I go out and get another bottle at $229? This is my second one. I don't know. I've got
that's why I
another
don't want
one
that
open.
one open.
But then you'll never be able to drink it. You got to open it to drink it.
But at least I know we have it. All
Well,
right, so third
if I
sip,
can get
guys.
one at an auction like I did this one for around $100, I'll probably do it. Our producer didn't get 3 sips out of hers.
Uh,
I think you're taking too big of a sip.
this one's also just a little bit dry, but not near as dry as that one, in my opinion.
I get about the same amount of dryness, but I didn't think that was dry.
Uh, very sweet.
It is.
A lot sweeter than that one. chocolatey on the. I didn't get it in the nose, but it's very chocolatey on the palate, like a chocolatey oak. The fruitiness kind of goes away a little bit, and it goes a little more sweeter, like not natural sweeter, but like sweeter, sweeter. Like I said, chocolate and
And
uh,
see, I get all those fruits like apples and pears
honey,
and even
brown sugar.
peaches, and it stays that way for me.
One thing I will say about this one, I noticed it in the tasting too. The nose kind of stays pretty true to the palate for me. I don't know if you're feeling the same way, but a lot of the same noses that I was getting, I'm getting in here. What?
Are we going to make our last sip with water?
I think that's a sin.
Well,
I think that's a sin for this one.
I'm going to try it. You don't have to
I don't even think I watered this down in the tasting. I didn't
on the
want to.
last sip. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
didn't
I
want
did
to.
either.
So I know that I said at the very beginning, when we were doing our tasting information, that no matter whether we want to or not, we usually water it
That's
down.
why I said. That's why
Well,
I asked you.
this one I don't want to, guys. I'll let him water it down. He can give you his
I'll water
aspect, and basically whatever he says, assume that I would say the exact opposite.
it. Opposite. Because we've been
So
totally
whatever he
opposite. The
says,
last,
assume
if y'all haven't been watching our videos on our top um 1501 to $20
we've been
bourbons,
doing a series. I highly recommend that you watch
we are
those.
totally opposite on all of these.
Everything.
Those lower end bourbons, the lower price range bourbons, we are not hitting them at all. We are so far apart.
Be good with frozen grapes? Are you a weirdo?
Grapes. Man, that one night that I was out there by the fire with those grapes,
It wasn't even this bourbon.
no, it wasn't this bourbon.
I think that was Lux Row.
I don't know.
So I'll
It's
let him
still,
water it down. Whatever he says, just assume that I'm going to say literally the exact opposite.
I say sweeter, so he says tart.
Tardy. I can't water it down, guys. I just can't do it. Well, he's really thinking about it.
You ought to try it watered down.
I can't.
It's delicious.
It's delicious straight.
It is, but it's delicious. Uh, that little bit of
So I would say it was horrible.
you probably wouldn't like it, but that when you first take it and you get that little bit of heat in there before it gets going, it it smooths that heat out and spreads it around your mouth, lets you get all those fruity flavors. I'm still getting the fruits. I get a lot of more smoke on this one than I did on that one, which
I do too.
I'm enjoying that.
And I meant to say
Uh,
that I normally don't mention oakiness, but it has a significant more amount than that one does.
I like oak and smoke
I
in
do.
my bourbons, and I
It's
can
so
taste it.
strange though, because you don't like smoked bourbons. Like you don't like
I don't want
smoking.
that to me is adding it, and I guess my classic bourbon self can't handle that part.
We've I think we've been moved.
And we're
Yeah, we
still
got
on.
shifted.
We got
Sorry,
shifted. Oh,
producer's getting a little footsie back there.
too much Yamasaki. No, she just sat down. Okay.
There's a whole couch to sit down on.
Mm.
Anyway, guys, I couldn't water it down.
We didn't give Legent a score.
I thought we were gonna rank them after.
All
I
right.
thought we were just gonna do both of them.
Have you said everything you? This is excellent bourbon. Uh,
If you had the opportunity to get it, guys, I highly recommend it.
I
I
don't
can't
know if
recommend it
it's
enough.
considered allocated or not, but it's considered expensive. I can tell you that. So
I think it is allocated.
I don't know. I've seen it at Total Wine and at Liquor Barn quite often. So in most of the allocated bourbons, I don't see there, but I've seen
They're
it there.
definitely asking an allocated price for it.
They don't have it on the shelf. It is at their allocated counter. It's in the glass or maybe on top,
See, I think it's allocated.
but it's $229 to $239. I haven't seen it cheaper than that. One of these, no, both of these particular bottles, I actually got on an auction site. So if you can get on some of those auction sites, you can get them for around $100. Then you got to pay to ship it and the taxes and
But
everything.
it's still cheaper than buying it at a
It's
store.
still cheaper than buying it for $229. But this is the bottle I thought I could trade for something else that I wanted and
I'm glad
realized
he
that
didn't.
that's illegal.
I'm so glad that he didn't. Because this is a great bourbon. I'm telling you, easily top five bourbons that I've had within the bourbon. We've had a lot of bourbons down here.
I don't know that I consider it top five. I'd really have to think about it very hard and compare it
I don't
sideways.
even compare bourbons, guys, but I know for a fact that everything that I've had, this is easily a top five.
It probably is your top five because it actually won your tasting,
Yeah.
and we've only had 3 tastings to this point. So I know it's
Well,
one of the top 3
I don't even know if I would rank my other 2 tastings as
as a
top
top.
5s.
It could have been in this tasting because these the 5 bottles that we had in this tasting were probably top 5 bourbons.
I don't
They
know.
were really good.
But if you all had the opportunity to get this any less than
Yeah, I knew you'd
I would
get that.
pay $230 for this once. I would recommend breaking the bank one time. You're gonna have a fantastic
You'd
bottle of
like to
bourbon.
have it. You
Uh,
it's something
I
you ought
don't
to
think
keep.
that you're going to regret it, Annie. You might want to make it last a little longer than what we have for $230, but you'll have a fantastic bourbon to sit on the shelf. It's great, apparently, with or without water, so you can put it on the rocks, drink it neat. It is 114 proof, so you don't have to drink a whole lot of it to start feeling some of the effects of it. So that's even better. It'll make it last even longer. Um, I recommend it at least once.
Yeah.
I think that you should try it at least once.
I think it's for collectors. I think it's for drinkers.
Is this the most expensive bourbon you've purchased more than once? That's a good question.
It probably is, but there's an asterisk by it because in the store, MSRP price, it is one of the most expensive bottles that I've
And you
bought
pay that
twice.
once.
No,
You didn't pay full price either time?
no, I bought them both at an auction, and
Oh,
I could think I paid $100 for it once and $105 the second time.
so probably like 160.
So after the shipping and everything else, taxes and everything, it is probably around 100. It's probably a little less than 160 actually.
So we'll just say 150. So
But still at
a
$150 for a
bottle.
bottle, I probably haven't bought a $150 bottle twice.
So we've we've gotten
Do you
lucky
know of any
with
producer?
these. She doesn't know.
$150?
She doesn't know.
No, because the barrel proof, E.H. Taylor barrel proof's over that. And I've got at least 2 of those bottles.
But you've not paid full price for those either, I don't
No,
think.
but I had to pay for the basket that they come in.
Not at the liquor store that you went to. It was like
Uh,
130.
well, he thought he was selling me a single barrel, I think,
Oh.
instead of
Anyway,
a barrel proof.
so long story short,
I'd say
in
yes.
in turn, $150, even us getting them on the auction, $150 a bottle, that's probably the most expensive bourbon we've bought multiple times.
I would say yes. Yes.
And if you were paying sticker price for it, then most definitely.
Yes. I do have multiple bottles like E.H. Taylor barrel proof. If you get them in a liquor store, not for MSRP, you are going to pay more than that. Even Stag and Elmer T. Lee, you're going to probably pay more than that. But uh, if you can find those things at MSRP, they are definitely cheaper than this.
Okay.
All
So
right.
hopefully that answered the question. I know that it went
It's
on a
a
little more of a spiel than what it needed to, but so we need to give these rankings. So we'll
yes.
start with this one. This is the first time that either of us have ever had this one.
First time I did like this bourbon.
Uh, I thought it was a little drier. I keep saying dry.
I don't
It's
know.
not that dry. It's just it makes you feel a little thirsty, and I don't think that that feeling is correct when you're drinking a liquid.
So we've had bourbons that's a lot drier than this. I mean, like pucker your mouth dry.
Yeah, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that either.
Okay. Well,
But this one's not bad. It's
I
not
enjoyed it. I thought it was a good slow sipper. Even at 94 proof, I would sip that. I wouldn't just, I mean, it wouldn't be like a
thi-
shooter.
especially with the price range. Like this is one of those that you could go purchase very freely, basically at 40, 45, you said?
It was between 45 and $50. It wasn't over 50,
I
but
mean,
I found them at 2 different liquor stores. I think one was 48, one was like 44 something.
one of the well, I'm not even gonna say that because that's a lie, but it's a very affordable price range. It's a very good sipper. It's not like my mouth is dry as the Sahara Desert. I said that
What about
earlier.
the flavors of it? Did you like the
I
flavors?
liked it, but I feel like that one cherry flavor was coming out so much it was hard to pull anything else out of it.
All right, so give me your score.
I mean, it was good. It was smooth. It was a good. It drank like a 94 proof, which I liked. It wasn't weak and it wasn't too strong. The color of it was amazing. The price range is great. Uh, I guess it could be beginner friendly
I think so.
if you don't mind a little bit
So
extra burn. If you're a burny kind of person, I
if
think
you're
it's right
looking
up
for
your
that
alley.
$40 to $50 bottle of bourbon, I think you could go to Legent. But this one isn't I don't think it's a very popular bourbon. I start where I don't. The two liquor stores in town. I went to two liquor stores here in town. This bottle was on sale at one because they couldn't sell them, and the other one it was on the shelf, but it was dusty. I mean, like the dustiest bottle that you've ever seen.
Well, all things considered, price range and everything that I mentioned before, I think it's a solid like 7.5.
You think 7.5?
I think 7.5.
I think it is good, and I was thinking, I just watched our other episode where I had defeated Puncher's Chance in the first round knockout, and you were giving me craziness for that.
Because that's just really harsh.
Uh, and you gave Puncher's Chance a 6.6, and when I first tasted this, I thought, now that's a 6.6 bourbon, and I'm gonna stick with the 6.6.
Mm.
All right. But 6.6 is pretty daggone good. All right. So I gave it a 6.6. You gave it a 7.5.
7.5.
All right. So I think you are more generous with your scores.
Because I don't compare them to anything
I
else.
bet
I
you
compare
hold
them
on.
to what they
I bet when you go to a restaurant, whether you have good or bad service, you tip 30%.
25 always.
See? That's what I'm saying. So if you have bad service, don't tip 25%.
25% always. Be generous. Be a kind person, guys.
I like to be kind, but I like to get a refill when I want one, you know?
Be kind.
So just all you got to do to be a waitress, if you see me in a store or in a restaurant and you're my waitress, all you have to do is refill
Hook
my
him up to
Coke.
the tap.
Refill my Coke and you will get a good tip. You don't refill my Coke, like a buck. I'm going to give you a buck or two.
All right, you're off subject. Lord of mercy.
All right.
25% always. All right, this one, guys. Go ahead because,
Do you want me to do this one?
yeah,
Okay.
go
So
for it.
I didn't really get to talk about Legent. Now, this one I did enjoy drinking and sipping. Okay. I think this is the sipper bourbon,
I
and
never cut you off before.
I think it would be good sipper, but my rating was a 6.6. All right. So now this one here, this is incredible bourbon. This is an expensive bourbon. Uh,
Can be gotten for cheaper, but you have to get lucky.
you got to get lucky, but it's an expensive bourbon, and me with expensive bourbons,
They're right up his alley. He doesn't go for the cheap ones first. He goes for the big dog.
it ain't that I go for the big dog, it's that I go for the deal on the big dog. I try to get it for MSRP or less, and if I can find it someplace like that, then I grab it, and I guess that's where I messed up in my bourbon searching.
You started pretty high on the
Well, no,
spectrum.
because I started getting into auctions, I started getting into all this stuff, and I knew what the price was in the liquor store, and I knew what bottles you couldn't get. So when I got on the auctions, if I could get them, and I'm like, oh man, this is a good price on this bottle. I bought it. So I got a lot of good bottles.
I think you're off subject again.
I am. All right. So let me get back on.
We were just talking about this being. It is an expensive bottle unless you get lucky on an auction, guys.
All right.
Long story
So
short.
the expensive bottle, I'm taking the number down because I don't really. Who has $230 to pay for this all the time?
A lot. If so, one thing I will say about this is not beginner friendly. Just to interject on his ranking.
It's
So
not
this is
beginner
going to
friendly.
be for the experienced bourbon
This
drinker.
is a fantastic bourbon.
And I think that if
Yes.
you're an experienced, no proof and everything. This is 114 proof
And money wise,
and money wise.
unless you
Everything.
just
This is
rich.
not a beginner friendly bourbon, guys. This is for someone that's probably an experienced bourbon drinker, probably more experienced than what we are. And they probably do have $230 to spend on a good bottle of bourbon.
All right. I enjoyed this bourbon very much. I enjoyed it the more I drank it, not today, the more I liked it. So over time, as I drank it, I liked it more. This one grew on me. Uh, it's got those fruity flavors that I love. It's got the smoky oak that I love, and I think this is a fantastic bourbon. Now, the only thing that gets me on this bourbon, and I think for a fantastic bourbon, you've got to pay money. And that's what gets me on this
Yeah,
bourbon.
I'm one to live by that saying. You get what you pay for,
You do.
all the way around.
Uh, so trying not to compare it to anything else, though, there are some fantastic bourbons that are a little bit cheaper.
You don't do that.
But I'm still going to give this an 8.5.
See, I'm not going to go on the spectrum. Yes, I'm not even going to say it. No, if you want this bourbon, go get it. You get what you pay for.
Not always.
There could be all kinds of
You can
different.
get some expensive bottles of bourbon that you may not like.
there could be all kinds of bourbons that are cheaper than this that you think are better, and that's fine. But it's the experience. You gotta, I think, try this at least once. If you got $230 to spend, or if you can find it on an
And if
auction
you
for
don't, go
cheaper,
to a bar that may have this for a shot
and just try it.
and try it. You're gonna like it. I
I swear
think
you're
you're
gonna like
gonna
it.
like it. If you like bourbon, you're gonna like it.
And I don't think that I can really say,
You got a comment?
I don't think that I could say enough about this bottle, guys. This is, I mean, seriously,
One of your favorites.
top five in the bourbon basement of everything that I've had. It checks all the right bases for me. It's a high proof. I like a high proof bourbon. The color was fantastic. The bottle looks pretty awesome. I mean, it's simple yet elegant at the same time. It's got a big old fork head on it, which draws attention.
Producer loves the bottle.
I mean, I think that it's sweet. I think that it's, I mean, just a hair drier than other bourbons that you might try, but it's not anything. It's less dry than that one is, even to me. Maybe I'm just dehydrated today or something. But I don't know. It's an extremely good sipper, guys. It can last you a while if you're not a big bourbon drinker. At 114 proof, you're not going to have to drink a whole lot to get the effects of it. Uh, I think it's an out of bounds home run for me, and easily a 9.4.
And I gave it an 8.5.
Easily.
That's a really high scoring bourbon here on the
That
Bourbon
is
Basement.
it's a ridiculously good
We
bourbon,
both
guys.
we both enjoyed it very much. So, all right.
When will the merch be available for purchase? Purchasing?
Purchasing. I think we're going to start. So our other episodes, our live episodes are live, but I think our other episodes that we do, our shorts and our other videos, they're like recorded in front of a live studio audience. So we're going to start selling tickets to our live shows or our live studio audience shows.
And the merch will be available for purchase whenever we can get my sister to agree to making all of the
I
shirts.
need some more shirts, by the way.
Yeah, I think you all probably think that
It's too
we're.
hot for me to wear this right now.
I'm not even worried about that. You probably think that we're gross because we're wearing like the same three shirts every
It's
episode.
for we each have 4 shirts.
So we've only got so much to choose from. So when my sister decides to agree to the terms of service and sign a contract saying that she's going to make every bit of merch that is purchased from X website that is yet to be created, then we will start releasing merch.
All right. We do have a Bourbon Basement brand.
Yeah, but we gotta have someone to make the stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I now have to make a website.
All right. Let's sign off.
Yeah.
We've pushed the show
This one's
past
gone
our
on for a little
limits.
bit longer,
Yeah.
but we did do two tastings. Both of these are very good, guys. If you have the opportunity to try either one of them, this one is a lot more attainable than this one. If you had the opportunity to get this one, though, guys,
Good. Great.
I highly recommend you do it. I don't think that you're gonna have any regrets, and I cannot recommend that bourbon enough. But uh, what's his name? Uh,
Shinji
Shinji, you did a fine thing with this bottle.
Fukuyo.
I'm not, and I said I'm an old fashioned kind of guy, a classic guy when it comes to bourbon, but this one, as far as a blended bourbon, is fantastic.
It
It
had some
checks
to do.
all the right boxes. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it. Let us know down in the comment section if you've had either one of these or if you plan to have them and what your thoughts were. Because I'm curious to know if we're just overhyping this stuff or if everyone kind of has the same feeling about it. Um, I think in our tasting, this one did rank pretty well
I
overall.
think everybody kind of liked it, but I don't know how many it won for.
I think I was the only one it won for.
So, but it may have been second and third in
It was
several.
high. So let us know what your thoughts are on it or if you plan on trying it. We will be doing our live episode, our Kentucky Derby episode next Friday, guys.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss.
Don't
It's going to
miss
be a
the
good one.
Kentucky Derby
It's
episode.
seriously going to be a good one.
If you do miss it live, go back and watch it because I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
We're excited about it.
I am because it's actually games and I get to play.
Let us know down in the comment section as well what your horse is, who your pick is to win, and maybe we will take that into consideration on our picks for the
It,
episode.
it won't have no consideration because we're going to. So, in our episode,
Don't explain it yet. Don't
we
explain it yet.
predicted the Super Bowl. We're going to predict the Derby winner.
Okay, so if we predict the Derby winner, everyone has to send us $100 via PayPal because we have probably won you all a lot of money if you're using our picks.
10% of your winnings is all we need.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
10%.
Anyway, guys, before we get off subject anymore, we appreciate you all giving us a little bit of time out of your night, as always. Hopefully, you all enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed recording it, because this was a fantastic
I
episode for me.
always enjoy Fridays.
I enjoy Fridays. It's always a good time here in the Bourbon Basement, but we do thank you all for giving us a little bit of time out of your night and for the support and the chatters in the chat, giving us a little extra people to talk to. It's greatly appreciated. We will see you all Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. Kentucky Derby episode. As always, guys, why drink alone?
When you can drink with us.
We'll see y'all Friday. Don't miss it.
Hey, can I have a hug
No.
after the Derby?
Yeah.
When we win?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm gonna settle for another warm Kentucky hug because that's what I do every Friday. Cheers.